Close one.
Huh?
Close one.
Yeah, I would get used to it. I don't think there's going to be too many ones where we blow the doors off and coast easily into the finish line. So they're all going to be nail biters, I have a feeling.
Really stretched Thomas out tonight, almost 120 pitches. So was that kind of your decision? Was he yelling at you? He wanted to keep the ball? What was it?
It was Tommy's a strong kid, and I think we ramped him up the right way to where he was capable of doing that. It was I think he faced probably 2 more hitters than I wanted him to, just based on the matchup there. We wanted to try and get the 9-hole hitter out there, and if we couldn't, then we knew we were going to have him face the right-hander at the top again before we got to the lefty where we could bring Fitz in. Because we wanted that matchup, but just unfortunately threw about 10 or 12 more pitches to those 2 guys. So, a couple of hitters too long. I started seeing the breaking ball flatten out a little bit. Knew he was getting a little bit tired, but thought he could dig deep and get through that. 118 pitches, that's probably as far as we'll go with him.
What did you make of their pitchers? We went kind of pitch for pitch at times, and your lineup's resiliency to wait and kind of push them until they finally bring in a guy at the end that you can get some hits off of.
It was their starter came out and threw. He had we knew he had good stuff, but we didn't think he had 96 in the tank like he had tonight, and came out firing bullets pretty good. That we kind of said, hey, he's throwing harder than we thought. Get it ready earlier. We were able to get his pitch count up, there with quite a few walks early on. He settled in and threw the ball pretty well and had some good stuff. But, on the same token, we're we got to get better offensively than we are right now. So, we'll take the win certainly and be happy for that. But we understand we got to get better in a lot of areas.
Did those A&M games kind of prepare the lineup for this, facing a pitching staff where they're, going to get into a slump?
Well, I think as a whole, everybody we played, here early on has kind of tested us in one way, shape, or form. There's been some arms that we've handled pretty well, but then there's been some guys that have pretty good stuff that we've actually handled well, and then there's some that we just flat out left the bats on the airplane and didn't show up. But that's baseball at times, and I think our offense is capable of doing a lot better than we have been the past week or so. We are, again, being battle tested, and we're facing good arms and good teams. And like I said, there's not going to be any breeze into the finish line for us, I don't think, with the teams that we're playing. We're going to have to ratchet down the screws and be ready to have a dogfight for 27 outs. So, but again, we're capable of more, and I think we definitely have to get better.
I didn't see him. Brandon's first 2 at-bats, 2 home runs.
Yeah, Comp is doing, what more can you say? He's doing outstanding and swinging the bat good. He's hitting lefties well as righties. So he's you can't ask much more from him. He's been doing outstanding.
Given the nature of some of the close games, that you're going to expect more of them. The bullpen has had a lot of positive performances the last couple of games, even the last week or so. What do you sort of attribute to this what seems to be a turning of a corner a little bit?
Well, I think the win-loss record in Texas wasn't great, but the bottom line is the bullpen was one of those shining spots that we came out of that with. That guys are starting to find their roles. I think us as a coaching staff are starting to figure out where to use guys, who's capable of doing what. And I've said it all along, we got a lot of freshmen out there, right? And they're starting to get a little more comfortable now as we move forward. I think you just see the confidence of Carlone, a guy like that coming in and just starting to walk around, little swag, and Fitzy's starting to find his role. Schieffer's starting to find his groove a little bit. Halvey's starting to throw the ball well. So when we knew that those guys were going to have some growing pains, and that's not to say they're over. I mean, they're still going to have some ups and downs, but I think each time they toe the rubber, they're getting more and more comfortable. And again, us as coaches are starting to figure out which guys fit into which roles a little bit better.
Like matchups, that sort of thing in terms of situational decisions to put them in here against these guys, or especially with Fitzpatrick? It seems like you've put him
Yeah,
in some.
Fitzy's is a prime example on, you know, we thought, as I said, we stretched Burnsy out there to try to get him, you know, to the lefty. Obviously, they pinch hit and threw the switch hitter up there, but we had confidence that he could get that guy out if he switched over to right-handed. We knew it was going to be a roll of the dice if we could get the next righty out. I think that was Smith, but then we liked the matchup, you know, with the next left-hander with Hurd. So, you know, it's one of those things that was our best guy at that moment of the game, and we thought that he was the best man for that job. And you know, we obviously don't like him walking or running right there, but on the same token, he limited the damage really well. That could have been an ugly inning.
Is that the biggest thing that you've seen with these freshmen, that confidence? Because it looked like when Carlone came in that inning, you know, compared to what in Kansas State, I mean, it looked like night and day, where he was just a lot more confident controlling.
Yeah, I think, you know, like I said, this is brand new for a lot of these guys, you know, and we're asking our freshmen to do a lot. We understand that, and we understand what that means. I think we were talking about it. We faced one freshman arm down in Texas, and that was the guy we scored 5 or 6 runs off of. So no one else is throwing freshmen out there, at least to the extent that we are. But we understand that if we're going to do what we want to do, these kids got to get experience, and they got to get it early, and hopefully they settle in. Which, you know, fingers crossed, they continue to improve and get more and more confident every time they go out.
How do you think a freshman-laden bullpen like that gives you an advantage over other teams?
Well, I don't. Obviously, the track record is not there for people to use the scouting report on. But on the other hand, you know, the more and more, like I said, the more and more confident we can get these guys, and the more experience they got, you know, hopefully we got them here for a long time. So you know, hopefully they continue to grow and get better and get more confident and bigger, stronger, faster. And you know, by the time they leave here, hopefully they're big time studs. So and they're coming into their own pretty quickly, which is great.
You mentioned confidence, and obviously you're trying to give it to me, but how do you feel that they're helping each other with the confidence, because they're all, I mean, like you say, kind of going through the fire at the same time?
Yeah, I think it's you know, they're in this together, and the team's in this together, and we have guys that I know want to pitch that aren't, and we have players that want to play that aren't. But at the end of the day, it's about us. It's about the team. Like we know. The message after the game was, we know we didn't play well today, but guess what? We won, and we lock arms together, and it's about us winning and coming out on top. And guess what? We all feel pretty good when we win. We don't look at the individual stuff as the negative. We look at the team success as the positive, and you know, we're going to try to focus on that. But these guys going through it together is what it's all about.
On the hitting side of those freshmen, Ethan Mendoza with another pretty big game tonight. What was your confidence level, him going up with a chance to walk it off, and how does that kind of speak to his maturity as a freshman that he was able to finish the job?
Well, I mean, you know, having an 0 for 5, but the game winner will work, I guess, at times. Ethan's been swinging the bat really well, you know, and we're thrilled to have him doing what he's doing right now. And he's got an extremely bright future, and with the way he's able to swing the bat. And you know, even we had you know, Nick coming up there, and they brought in a new pitcher to face him. You know, just kind of had that feeling. I wanted to keep him locked in. That I said, hey, you're gonna win this thing, right? And even though we got, you know, our big guns coming up with Nick and Toby, I wanted him to stay focused. That hey, this could come down to me. And I kind of told him even when he was in the hole, I said, hey, you're gonna win this thing. I said, stay locked in and be ready to win this game. And he just kind of looked at me like, yeah, no kidding. You know? I'm like, okay, you're not nervous, I guess, so that's good.
Sorry.
But yeah, he's been doing a great job.
He told us that he was excited going up into that at bat. Have you ever seen that kind of confidence in a freshman?
The good ones, yeah. Yeah, the guys that I played with, you know, through over the years, the rookies, the guys that have their, you know, pro ball rookies versus freshmen, the guys that have that confidence and want to be in those situations are usually the ones that are going to get it done. You know, the ones that are kind of looking for over their shoulder for, nah, man, you live for those situations. So he's that type of kid that wants those situations and wants to be in there, I think, and he's kind of got that hit factor, which is pretty cool.
What have you seen in the way that he's kind of grown up from the time that he stepped on campus to Texas where he just had a coming out party, and now tonight where he gets the big hit to seal the deal?
It's again that there's first time you step on campus away from home, a couple of states away. You don't have mom doing your laundry and cooking for you, and you got to figure out all those things on your own. And you're meeting a new group of guys for the first time, and there's a bunch of alpha males in here that you're trying to figure out where you're rolling, where you fit in with these guys. That's a huge adjustment for freshmen to come in this type of program. But the way he's made some massive leaps here this past month, right before the season started, you can kind of see him starting to come into his own and say, man, I'm as good as these guys. I can play here and I can do this, and just the confidence has continued to show with him, and I think he's only going to get better.
Was that confidence part of why you recruited him in the first place? That's something that you noticed trying to get him here?
I noticed him hitting line drives all over the ballpark. That's why I recruited him. When I first brought him out here to a camp, and just he wanted an opportunity. He was a smaller kid that hadn't grown into his body yet, but saw him hit and saw him field. I'm like, man, this kid's good. How come nobody in Texas is on this kid? And there's got to be some catch here. And I called around about him, and everybody said he's a great character, great makeup kid. And I'm like, well, he's not even shaving yet. He's going to grow into that body. He's going to get stronger and more physical. And with that bat speed already the way it is, I'll take my chances on him. So we got him on board, and he just kept on getting better and better. And there's a lot of people. When he came here after his senior year, a lot of scouts and people that I know down in Texas, like, dude, you got the best hitter out of Texas, I think. So. If not one of the top hitters in Texas, which is saying something because there's some good players down there. So, but we're happy to have him. We're thrilled to have him, and like I said, I think his future is extremely bright.
Certainly, he's earned himself that kind of praise in this kind of spot as a key cog in the lineup. But it's hard to kind of figure that he didn't get these everyday opportunities because Nuke and Trotus went out with his back issue. How do you see Ethan continuing in the lineup once New is healthy, and any update on New you can give us?
We're going to be without New for a while, unfortunately, and so that stings, that hurts from a team standpoint. It hurts. His diagnosis, I need to wait before it's final, but we need to be prepared to move along without him for a significant amount of time, which is disappointing. And I know he's upset. We're all upset because he's a heck of a player, and I appreciate how he tried to gut it out, early on with it. But indications are that it might have been worse than we thought. So with that door somewhat closing, another one opens, and Ethan's going to get significant amount of playing time as long as he keeps doing what he's doing. Jax Ryan's going to get some playing time. Mario DeMera, Carstetter. We're going to find out the best mix over there at third base that can help us. So those guys are going to get opportunities until someone nails it down.
So there's a competition at third base now?
Heck yeah, there's competition every day. So we're going to go with the best guys that give us a chance to win.